Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Gabrielle, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Money with Friends. I'm so excited to be here. Are you excited to be with us tonight? Yes, we've been back for a few weeks now, and we are so excited because we've getting so many great feedback about the work that we're doing, and we love it. And that's the reason why I'm continuing with this work because I know it's making a difference. And that's why every night when we go live, we I encourage you to share, tag, and let a friend know, a friend or two know that we are live and we are sharing pertinent and current timely information about money. But on this show, we say money encompasses everything. Would you agree? Money encompasses everything. So it's so important to know that we talk about everything, but since we came back, we've been talking about home ownership and how to find your home, finance it. But tonight we're gonna talk about part of the keeping your home because if you have the best investment, your beautiful home that you and your family selected, and now you finance it without the proper insurance coverage, it could be a very big loss. So that's why tonight we have an insurance advisor, agent, producer with us, and she's going to be talking about the home owner's insurance policy, why it is matters. So without further ado, before I go, I would like to remind you, please, we would like for you to share, tag, and let your friend know that we are on and that we are talking about something that they want to hear. Whether you are a homeowner or not, this is an information that you want to hear about. So without further ado, let me welcome my friend and my guest tonight. Her name is Tanisha Jean Charles, and she's gonna introduce herself. Meanwhile, we're gonna check to make sure that all of our social media pages are working properly. Tanisha, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, Gabrielle. Thank you for having me here tonight. Hi, everyone. I'm super happy and excited to be here tonight to talk to you guys about insurance and just, be part of what Gabrielle is doing to the community here. It's amazing to have you guys joining us tonight and also just be part of this great meet.
Yeah, Tanisha, so how long have you been an insurance agent for? Why don't you share that with the audience?
Oh yeah, great. So I recently started with the insurance, but I have been in the lending for over 5 to 6 years now. I did the switch from lending to insurance, so I know how important it is to protect your property because buying a house is one of the biggest purchase you will make in your lifetime for a lot of people, and just spreading the love and educating our folks here to know what to get and what to buy. So
Yeah. So you
exciting.
are in the lending and the insurance business as well?
Yes, so
Yeah.
I was in the lending and I switched over this year into insurance.
Oh, okay, great, great. Now I see that you work for Notice Insurance Solutions. How long have you been working with this company?
I started with them this year, so just
Oh,
a few
this year.
months now. Yeah, so super excited. I know them when I was doing mortgages, so I work
Oh,
with them. My clients go to them, so it was just like a family transitioning there, just
yeah.
to be able to see the other side of protecting the house, not the financing part of having a house.
Yeah, definitely. You and I have a lot in common because I was in the mortgage business for a long time as well. And
Oh wow.
then I've been an insurance agent for a long time. But the insurance that I've been focusing on, because there are so many lines of insurance product that you could offer to your clients, right? We talked about the auto, right? We don't get into auto insurance. I'm not in the auto insurance business. There's a business insurance and you have life insurance. That's what I do. I have a license to sell life and health insurance. But you tonight, and I know your insurance might be comprehensive, but tonight we're going to talk about the importance of having the right homeowners policy because at the end of the day, We both know how important it is to own a home and how valuable that is for family. When someone purchases a home, they're purchasing something. Usually, 99% of the people are purchasing it long term. So therefore, in order for you to protect that asset, you gotta have the right policy. Now, I know I met you at an event, the same event that I met the gentleman that was on last week. Did you want to share a little bit about that? We were at La Pearl Caribbean restaurant in Everett. Yes. Yeah. Did you want to share a little bit about why you were involved in that, and then we can go ahead with our line of questioning tonight?
Oh yeah, of course. So, yeah, it was really a nice event. So we were helping. We were doing a first time home buyer. We
Uh,
invited the community to join us at La Pearl in Everett, and we had a sit down. We had a great turnout. I met you there
yeah.
that night, so it was to help, educating folks about knowing what buying a house is about, the different people and different businesses that come together on the purchasing of the house, and just like knowing the in and out, and just helping folks to understand what's going on and what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, definitely. I know one of the things that I was very impressed, and Tanisha, ou parle créole tout, même j'avais, right? Nous tous les
Oui,
deux parler créole, nous parler bien. Et ça fait one of the raisons, sous ce yon moun qui dans la communauté, hein, ou t'as aimé travailler avec Tanisha, li parle créole, li capable d'aider, ouais, oui, Tanisha?
Oui, mwen pale kreol, mwen la pou moun yo, pou mende moun yo, pou
Yeah,
ka kompran ki sa asiransye, le ap achete kay, koman pou proteje tet yo, mwen la pou mede yo, so si yo kon pou gen yon keksyon pa kon koman pou di li, mwen ka ede yo,
yeah,
mwen se moun ki pou ede yo nan kominote ya, nan,
yeah,
nan lang ou leve ya, e
yes.
pou ka kompran tout sa ka fet yo, so pou pa gen oken lot problem ou di yon pat kompran pou pa san sou nan noa.
Yeah, definitely. Isn't that our superpower? The fact that we are bilingual?
Oh yes,
Not too
yes,
many
yes,
people are
yes, yes,
bilingual.
yes,
It's our
yes,
superpower. I really enjoy the fact that I've been able to use that language that I was taught as a child to
yeah,
really service my community. But we are in the business of helping families, and we
yes,
live in the greater Boston area here. So families, I've been able to help all kinds of families because English, most people do speak English in this country, but the ones who do not speak the English, we are able to speak to them at least in one other language. I know I speak one other, and I'm trying the other ones, but at least one. So let's dive into this topic for tonight. We say homeowners insurance matters. Can you explain why insurance? Why is it important to understand that insurance is important when it comes to the buying process or to owning a home?
that's a great question, Gabrielle. People tend to not fully understand when it comes to insurance, what's the in and out of insurance, and having being able to protect your house. So
Mhm.
it is required in any state in United States that you need insurance, just like you need insurance for your car. You also need insurance for your house. It's very important, just in case if something happen, you don't wanna be in the fall play and not knowing what to do. The fact that you want to protect yourself, there's so many mayhem that can happen. The lenders require you to have it, and also it's a peace of mind for you to know, okay, if something happened to my property, this is what's gonna happen. This is who I will reach out to fix this. And
Yeah,
yeah.
it's true because I know when typically when I was a mortgage broker, right? Typically, at the closing or before the closing, you will hear from your mortgage lender. You need to get an insurance binder, right? You need to go get an insurance binder because there they are. That you're gonna be signing on a $500,000 loan. You're gonna be signing a loan that is perhaps sometime more than $500,000. They're gonna give you a $500,000 to buy an asset, your home. They're like, wait a second, what if something were to happen, like a fire or like a disaster, like a tree fell on your house, how are we going to be able to recover our costs? Because I know one of the things that folks have to realize is that when you have a home, if something happens and it's your responsibility, like let's say you have a tree behind your house, and then that tree ended up on your neighbor's house, you are responsible for that. And if you
Yeah.
don't have insurance, you will be responsible for all that financial costs that most people cannot afford that financial cost, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You want to be protected. You want to make sure, like, and even that too, not even the tree, just someone fell into your property. You want to be protected. You can get sued by anyone at any
Mm,
time if you don't have the right coverage. That's why it's always great to actually have a relationship when you are in the process of buying a house, to also make sure like you're fully aware of who's protecting you and what's in your insurance binder, what's covered, what's not covered, and
mhm.
what to get the right coverage. Also, you want to save as well too. So you want to get the most that you can get for your house the cheapest way you can possibly. And that's why I came in, and it's just to help you understanding, and the fact that I'm able to do it in both languages. Just if you have question, you're comfortable either in English or you're comfortable in Creole, I'm able to answer your question, to give you that peace of mind, knowing like, oh hey, this is what happened, this is what I'm covered for, this is where I'm not covered, this is what I can do, and all of that, and knowing the in and out, like in your property as well, what's in your property, and if you have tree, if it fell on the neighbor's house, how we're gonna be able to fix that, so you don't feel like, oh my god, this is not coming out of my pocket. Just knowing the peace of mind, or you don't have to pay for it and you are covered,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to pay for it. It's covered by your insurance company. So tonight our topic is your homeowner's insurance matters. And the reason why it does matter to have the right and appropriate insurance coverage is because things do happen. Life happens. Life happens, whether it is an accident, a storm, a tree were to fall on your property. You need to be sure that you have coverage because very few people have two, $300,000 in their checking account available to cover extensive damages, right, on a
Yes.
property or something. Someone were to get hurt at your home, you want to be able to have coverage. Now we talk about coverage. So just like when I talk to a client and then I'm asking them about owning a life policy, they're like, oh, how much do I need? So how much insurance do you need? How much insurance do you usually get a client who's looking to cover? How does it work? Give them a little idea.
So that's a great question. A lot of people tend to understand it's the value of the house. It's
Hmm.
not the value of the house. You can have, I'll give you a perfect example. You can have a house on, a small cabin in a rural area, and it probably costs you to build that cabin, I could say like $200,000. And then you take that cabin itself and you go ahead, you put it in the middle of seaport. So yes, the value of that cabin from $200,000 in a rural area going to seaport, the value will went up to probably 1 or 2 million, depending on the area, the zip code. But it
Yes,
still will cost you $200,000 to build that,
to replace it.
replace it. So that's where insurance coming on. It's supposed to replace your house, the stuff, the items that you have in the house.
So you're saying like you could have a house that is worth let's say $2 million and still the insurance coverage is not no more than $200,000 if the replacement value for that policy is to or that property is only $200,000.
Yes, so it's the cost to build the house.
The cost to build the house. Yeah.
Yes, that's what
So
it is. So that's why you have to understand how insurance work, so you don't overpay your insurance. This is where
yeah.
you have to know your agent, because your house worth $800,000 because it's in a plot, the area, the location, and the the school district and all of that,
Mhm.
all that factors come in and play in the value of your house, the authenticity of the house, what's going on in the house doesn't mean it costs $800,000 to build it.
Yeah, so the replacement cost basically when it's time to get the coverage, it all depends, right? It
It's all
depends on
depends
how much it will cost to replace that
on
property.
how.
So if you have a home that is worth $1 million, but if the replacement cost is only $400,000, your coverage should not be more than that, correct? And
Correct.
the other thing that we want to emphasize is the fact that your land, if you have a fire, the land doesn't need to be replaced. That's the reason why the replacement cost will definitely be a lot less. Because, like you
Yes.
said, the seaport, because of the location,
Yes.
seaport is worth, I don't know, the location itself is worth $1.5 million, right?
Yes.
And then the property that to build the property was only 500,000. So yeah, definitely that's something that everyone. Now you had mentioned earlier that you should also have money saved. Yes, you have insurance, but do you have to file the claim every time there is a little issue at home? Or should you have money saved A to cover some of the small losses that you might be experiencing at home? And also two, there's such a thing as a co-insurance, like the co-insurance that you have to pay when you submit in claim. How do you work that? How important it is to also have savings, even though you have insurance?
That's a great question, Gabrielle. I will say, just knowing what it costs, your deductible, and what your out-of-pocket cost is, you want to
Mhm.
have that money there in case something happened. That's why saving is very important. When you have a house, you save that when God forbid something happened, your house is burned down, and your deductible is $5,000. You want to be able to have that $5,000 to pay your deductible in order for them to build your house. You don't want to be scratching your head after that and like you stop everything because you not able to pay your deductible. So it works the same way as a car insurance.
Mhm.
Um, is to know what you are capable of coming up in emergency. That's why certain people are comfortable with a $5,000 deductible. Certain people are comfortable with a 250,000, 2,500 actually, not 250,000. I'm sorry, 2,500 deductible. So you actually have to know what you are comfortable when you're in that
Yeah.
situation, not when you have it, but when you at your craziest moment, what can you pull through?
What
And
can
that
you afford? Yeah.
yeah.
So let me ask you, because I remember years ago the deductibles were just like $500, 250. Now they've gone up to half to 5,000 and $2,500
So it's based on what you're comfortable. Certain clients will want a lower
deductible.
more of the premium and they wanna pay because of that, they want the mortgage to be lower. So they want that monthly payment to be lower in
Okay.
the whole entire mortgage package when you especially if you are doing what do you call it again? I forgot the
PITI,
ESCO,
the
and
ESCO.
then it's
Yeah.
called your ESCO. So you got your mortgage payment, your interest that you're paying, you also have your insurance that you're paying, and then and so forth. In the town, the tax you're paying is all bundled together. So your when you're looking at the spread, it's spread over every
The 12 month spread.
12 months.
Hmm.
So you want that monthly cost to be lower. So a lot of people tend to opt on a higher deductible,
Okay.
and that will lower their monthly
Insurance.
costs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in other words, when you have your mortgage, you buy the house and then you have a loan, the loan has principal and interest, right? You have that
Yes.
portion. And then in addition to that, you have the insurance because that insurance, although I know that the first insurance policy, the first binder has to be paid in full. So you pay
Yes.
that in full, and then going forward, you pay the other ones, the other policies as you renew it on a monthly basis. Now that
Yes.
monthly basis, that if let's say your premium, you're saying like if your and your premium, let's say, is $12,000. I'm just throwing a number. Let's say 1,200 for good measure. $1,200, then your monthly portion that is added to your mortgage is $100. So
Correct.
every month you add 100, and that 100 is for insurance. And then of course you have taxes and other things
Yeah.
if you have HOA and all that stuff. So the that monthly premium that you're paying for your insurance will depend on how much your deductible is, because you're saying like for those who are looking for smaller monthly payments, they're up for a larger deductible, right?
Yes.
And those
Yes.
who are looking for perhaps a larger monthly payment, they don't mind it, then they'll opt for a smaller deductible.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like you said, you did mention that you did mortgages before, so you're fully aware at the closing table. Before you
Yeah.
get to the closing table, when your underwriter's sending numbers, changing the back end ratio and all of that. I don't wanna boring you guys here. So certain number is very important when it comes to your insurance. That monthly
Hmm.
payment play a big part of your back end ratio when you're when you are closing in a house. So having the right coverage and the right premium play that part. So if
Hmm.
someone with a higher back end ratio will want a lower monthly payment,
Amen.
make that
Hmm.
number works for you to be able to close.
Okay.
So sometime someone will be opting into a higher premium
Hmm.
to lower that monthly or higher deductible, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
to lower that monthly payments for them where they can end up closing on
Yeah.
that house they want.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about this topic today because I know insurance can be very boring. Would you agree, Tanisha?
What is it you said?
Very boring topic, insurance. Even when you talk about life insurance and other insurance, everybody's like, oh, this is something I don't want to think about. But the truth of the matter is, if something were to happen to your home, you want to make sure that you are properly insured and that you are prepared for the what ifs. What if something were to happen?
Yeah.
So I know we buy insurance, we want to transfer the risk of the what ifs to an insurance company.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the importance of the claim. I know, again, I had mentioned earlier, do you file the claim every time you have a minor issue, or how does it work? Because I know I was talking to someone one time and she's like, oh, my insurance company just canceled my policy. And I'm like, why? She said, well, because we filed a couple claims. And I was like, really? What were they? And then she was explaining them to me, and I was like, oh, okay. Perhaps they were frivolous transaction that you're doing, and the insurance company has to calculate risk and calculate the long-term relationship that they have with you. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, how important I don't want to say it's a privilege to have the policy, because you could find a policy, but if you're not a consumer who's being responsible, you could lose your relationship with a particular insurance company. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, Gabrielle, of course. I think what the misconception here, a lot of people are not fully aware what their insurance is
Uh-huh.
and what their coverage are. So when you purchase an insurance, a home insurance and a car insurance, it's two different things. There's certain mayhem in your house that is not covered by insurances, by your insurance for your house. It's covered by maybe a different insurance. Granted, you have to read your policy and fully aware, and that's when I'll say no one. I would not expect a homeowner to know the in and out of their insurance and what's covered and what's not covered. But that's when an agent, having the right agent, having the right relationship with your agent, come in. So the best way to file a claim is when a catastrophe, something huge happened in your house, like your house caught on fire, and there's like certain type of damage that you have with water that fall into the insurance. We still have to make sure that it fall under your policy. That's why the right policy is it's important to have. If you live by a river or the sea and the ocean and so forth, and one day the sea level rise up and then your house just like got damaged. That is completely different from your home insurance.
Mm. So you need flood insurance for that.
You will need your flood insurance
Yeah.
for that. Compared to your basement is flooded and then there's a pipe burst. That's your insurance that cover. That's how you have to know the in and out. And I feel like that's when the
Yeah.
relationship come with your agent. Just knowing your agent and call, make them do the work. You pay them for that. You have a relationship with that. Reach out to them and say, hey, this is what's going on. What do you think? Do you think I'm covered? They'll go before they start, before you call the insurance itself and file the claim. You speak with your agent and figure out what's going on. Am I covered or not? You
Yeah.
want to know that, and you want to explain the mayhem, the circumstances that's happening in your
Mm.
house, for you to know what the best way to take that issue and deal with it.
Yeah, if you covered, because I remember I was saying to you when we were talking like this week that I remember someone who had a flood, bad flood because they had the pipe burst at the house, and they didn't know that they could call the insurance company to file a claim and have them come in to assess the situation. That person actually ended up getting a loan from the bank to
Yeah.
fix the damage because they were afraid that, oh, if I call my insurance company, they're gonna cancel my policy, or they didn't know they even had the option to do that. So that's why tonight it's so important that you know that I love the fact that you talk about the relationship, because again, when we started talking about home ownership this month, we said how important it is to have a great relationship with your real estate agent, because that person is going to position you and get you into the right property. And then now you have a great relationship with your loan officer, and that person is going to make sure that you get a loan that you can pay and that you can afford, because they care about you and your family. Now tonight we are talking about how important it is to have a great relationship with your insurance agent, because those people usually after that first policy, I know for me and for so many people, we can attest to that. After that first policy that you go to the agency to get, many times folks never go back in. They
Yeah.
don't go back in, they don't have a conversation. And you said earlier today that we hired you, that they're getting paid. Every time you pay your premium, the agent is getting paid. The agency is getting paid. So it's very important to know that they have a fiduciary responsibility to take care of you as well. Would you agree?
So I want to clarify the fine points here on this topic. Is just that we have a relationship with you that we built, and we know like this is your house, this is very important for you.
Mm-hmm.
When we do your coverage, we make sure that you are completely covered. There's a certain accident that the insurance company itself won't cover, that fall out of the agent.
Mm-hmm.
um that's fall out of me, my can do when it comes to that. So you have to make sure, like,
What you say, like there are certain things that are not covered. Can you give us an idea as to what, for example, I have a policy and I have a policy with Notice Insurance, and I
yeah.
know I wanted to cover my home and everything. What would not be covered, and what would, like, you just give me an example.
So we'll go back to make it very basic. Like, okay, you call me and then the neighbor tree fall in your garage.
Mm-hmm. That's the
That's not
neighbors.
that's the neighbor's tree
Yeah.
that fall
Oh,
in your
okay.
garage.
Oh, I
So
understand.
now we're gonna file a claim with
Mm-hmm.
the neighbor insurance to cover
Okay.
that tree to fix your garage for you, not your insurance. Calling your insurance and filing a claim for that tree will be against the whole policy itself.
Okay.
You're doing yourself a disfavor there.
But they
You
would
want
still need to call you, right? And then you will file the claim on their behalf, or the neighbor would have to call and file the claim.
I will say the best way is to literally go to the neighbor and get their insurance information and call and file a claim. You'll call your insurance and let your
Okay.
insurance know, hey, because they have to know. People do not understand that the bank trusts you to make payment on a house that's not yours until it's fully paid. They
Mm-hmm.
want their asset to be covered. So
Okay.
you will call your insurance and let them know, hey, the neighbor tree fall and break into the garage. There's a dent, water pipe whatever is going on. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I did reach out to this insurance. This is the insurance information. There's
Okay.
gonna be lawyers, assessors, so many other people involved. But that's your job, is to let your insurance know what's going on, file a claim with the other insurance, and
Mm-hmm.
let the insurance communicate and let them
Yeah.
taking care of you.
So it's almost like car insurance. If someone is at fault, you have to you call your insurance company and let them know that you just had an accident and here's the insurance now information for the person you had the accident with, and then they will figure it out to based on their findings, right? They'll
Yes,
decide who's at fault. Sometimes you don't know if the tree is halfway between your house and the neighbor's house, you might be responsible 50% as well. So
yeah,
it's important to build that relationship. You're saying like be sure you have a relationship with your insurance agent and not be afraid to call them and even explain to them what just happened, and then they're able to let you know exactly what you can do next, right?
yeah,
Is that a
yeah.
good idea though, to call the insurance company and say, hey, we just had an accident here. Should we file a claim? Because I know again, there are apprehension when it comes to, am I gonna be able to keep my policy if I even mention certain incidents?
I feel like that's the misconception of having an agent. I feel like people do not understand and utilize us what we're supposed to. Our job is not to be punitive towards you. You're actually paying for
Mm,
coverage. You want to be utilizing that coverage. Our job is to help you, guiding you to the right direction. If it's something that your insurance doesn't cover, we'll just let you know it doesn't cover. We There's alternative, and we'll see, like, we'll look at a record and see, like, if this happened before, how we can help you, and the best way to fix the issue. But at the same time, I feel like calling the agent is having that has nothing to do with your insurance itself.
okay.
So it's just until you go and file a claim and have a claim with your insurance, there's something open under your claim, under your name. It's just, it has nothing. Having a conversation will not cost you anything
Yeah.
whatsoever. You want to have that conversation. You want to make sure you understand, hey, you know what, this is what happened. Because
Hmm.
when that happened, you're stressing, you're
Correct.
not happy. There's so
Yeah.
many things that's happening in your life. You don't even know where that piece of paper, you don't even know where you put that
Exactly.
insurance book. You don't want to have to worry about that. That's why it's really, really, really important to have a local agent. You don't want to go to a 1-800 number where you lost. You have no idea who you're talking to. You get into a
Hmm.
call center, and then you get a 20-year-old, just, you don't want to be a number. You don't want to have a relationship with your agent when you be like, oh, okay, Tanisha, this is what happened. And then I'll
Hmm.
say, oh, I hear you. I understand what's going on, listening to the in and out. And
Hmm.
then my job is to go back and do research to see what's covered, what's not covered based on your policy, and how to handle that situation. Kind of lift the weight for you where you feel
Hmm.
like, oh my God, this is what you paying that umbrella to cover you, to
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah, that coverage
That
definitely.
ease, that peace of mind.
Yeah, that peace of mind, that relationship. I think for me, I've had shows here called Relationship Matters. It's so important to have the best strategic relationship with your the professionals who are working with you, because when you own a home, it's a very important part of your life, your family's life, and the community. You want to be sure, because how many times have we passed by a neighborhood and we see a fire? The fire happened 2, 3 years ago, and the property is still not being able to be fixed. Sometimes it's because they have the one general contractor, but many times it's because the insurance coverage was insufficient. So that's why it's so important. I think it's imperative that you sit down with someone who's local, like Tanisha. She's very local. She's you see the local number here is 781. But if you live outside of the state, we want you to build a relationship, strategic relationship, business relationship with someone who is local, so that you can have those type of relationship. You don't want to trying to pull money from your retirement account to fix something that the insurance company could have done, like your roofing. If the tree on your property or neighbor's property, you don't have to go, oh my gosh, let me go get a loan. No, you have insurance for that. Now, I know you had mentioned that not everything is covered, right? We understand that there's sometimes your responsibility and the neighbor's responsibility. But I've also heard of, the line that line of insurance is not my expertise, like the homeowners insurance. So I would like to ask you. I've heard of umbrella insurance. Why would it be important for someone to not only have the regular binder for to cover their home, but also have an umbrella policy?
That's a great question. I feel like you said,
Thank you. I've been asking good questions, right?
yeah, you have. You
Yeah,
are
thank you.
very Gabrielle is really on your side, guys, tonight. She is digging, just making sure like the in and out. Like I said, it's just knowing the
We mentioned
location.
the umbrella. Even I was gonna put a picture, right? Insurance, all the insurance companies like Travelers Insurance and all of them, they have the umbrella, right? But
Yeah.
there's such a thing as having an umbrella insurance. And that's the one that I would like. That's the idea that I would like for you to explain to our audience tonight. Because for me, that's also very important to have
Yes.
that.
So there's multiple factors. I'm gonna use my notes here so I don't lose you guys.
Okay.
There's multiple factor that covered like in your policy. So when you're looking at it, you got the dwelling, of the house, meaning like the walls, the roof, the building system, the site structure. That's coverage A for you. That's definitely covered by your policy. And then this is the main frame of the house. You have
Mhm.
coverage B. Those are like the other structure, like the detached structure. Like if you have a carpool garage outside and you have like a shed, a fence, a guest house, those are like coverage B. So then you have coverage C, like your personal property. You have a $5,000 like workout bike in your house and your house is burned down, you're gonna wanna know if that $5,000 bike is covered with your insurance. You have some Apple products in you know, your house. So that's why it's always important to have the right coverage, have that right umbrella, cover all the need and details because it's not only the house, all your other stuff in there. You need, if you're someone that just like more in the high end, that have high end value stuff in there, you need to let your insurance company know like those are the stuff that I have in there because you need the right policy to cover these items that you have. This is like part of like the
Yeah.
personal property. And also you have the loss of use, like living space, like extra living costs, other stuff that per se like you it's a house. Sentimental stuff you're gonna lose. You're
Yeah,
gonna lose
someone
things
told
that
me that their wedding ring was covered to
yes.
the homeowners. Is that in addition to the policy, or
That's
how
part
do
of
you
the
get
personal
your?
property that's under cover C and of your policy. And also you have the cover E, like personal liability, like legal injury, property damage, other stuff that in part of the house. If you're in the house and then you burn, that's injury. That's coverage E of your policy to
Okay.
so forth. And then you also have coverage F, that part of the medical, like coverage, like regarding at fault or not. Like if someone, God forbid, like other things happen, I don't want to prick anyone else, but like that pay for your medical. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
well sleep and the house was on fire, you weren't able to know, and the smoke, and now you have insurance bill to pay. That's part of your coverage. So that's just coverage. That's coverage F, that cover your medical payments and so forth. Just to reiterate, there's different structure in your coverage. You have the dwelling, like the fixtures of the house itself. Anything else like for B coverage, like you have like a mother-in-law part,
Apartment.
of your house. You have a
Mm-hmm.
detached garage. You have a couple. You have a shed. You have fences. All of that is in, coverage B part of your
Mhm.
policy. Then you have coverage C that do all your personal items. You have like furniture, you have clothes, electronics, appliances, and so forth. And then you got coverage D that's like loss of like living expense, other stuff that you have
Mhm.
in the house you'll be naming because you're gonna sit down and sit with someone and give a full details of all the stuff that you lose in your house, sentimental things that we cannot replace, but it's just knowing that
Mhm.
you have it for what's the value of it for you. And then you have your personal liability, like any legal responsibilities, that if there's like a guest in the house when the whole thing happened, it's not coming out of your medical payments and so forth.
Mhm.
It's coming out of like injury, damage of the property. If you get sued and so forth, that's coming out on that money. And then
Yeah.
you got your medical bills that come out of your coverage F.
So
That's
there's a lot. Definitely, you want to be properly covered because
yes,
at the end of the day, if you don't do the right policy, because again, you had mentioned come local, do local business. Because
yeah.
many times we think we are experts, right? We think we are experts. We are on late at night, we are online trying to figure out a policy, and you get into a policy and you even know what you didn't check. You don't even know what you didn't up for. So at the end of the day, something happens and you're like, oh, I thought I had this coverage. I thought I had that coverage. So it's very important to sit down with a professional, someone who is a licensed professional locally who can take a look and talk to you because you mentioned personal properties. I know I had a neighbor who had the flood. Her house was flooded because her pipes burst. Now she was smarter. She did call the insurance company. The insurance company came, they did do an assessment, and then they came back and said, well, you know what, I think your claim is about $15,000. And she was talking to another neighbor, and the neighbor said, no, your claim should be more than that. Did you tell them about this? Did you tell them about that? She's like, no, when the guy came in, I just had him go in and he looked and he came out and said, okay, I'll get back to you. But when she heard the other neighbor said, no, I had a similar experience and I had called the insurance company, kind of gave me the same lowball assessment for my for my losses. And then she said that, I called somebody else, an independent assessor. And the independent assessor came in and actually did a thorough analysis or review of everything. And one of the things that she had mentioned, she said, if you have expensive items, like things that are valuable, like artwork and things, you should take pictures and save them someplace external, like in an external drive remotely, so that in case of fire or in case of an incident, that you can have those as evidence for your claim. Would you agree?
I would definitely say yes. The That's why with us with Northeast Insurance Solution, we make sure you understand your policy. And the thing is, I think your neighbor didn't fully understand is that yes, the house is damaged. You are covering the structure. Also, you have belongings
Yeah.
that need to be covered. That's on a
Yes.
different assessment. And then knowing, meaning like if you have a $50,000 watch in your house, you need to let your insurance know,
Correct.
them know that you have a $50,000 watch. You're not just gonna pull it out of a rabbit hole and say, "Oh yeah, I have this. What's the proof that it's there?" Because
Yeah.
it might like it's gone, it's
Yeah.
gone. So just having the proof of that, hey, I bought it there. This is, there's so many ways to prove it. You
Mhm.
receipt, payments, credit card statement, and so forth to show like, hey, I purchased it. It was, it's there. And like your friend said, having there's certain belongings that you have, you want to make sure you share it with your insurance company. Hey, this is what I have. I'm very techy. I have 7 or 8 screen
Yes.
different laptop that built that I, bought, and
Yes.
built in the house, and I want to make sure these are covered and so forth. And also, people don't understand, like if someone, fell on your property, you are covered for lawsuit and liability and so forth too. And that's completely different if someone is hurt, meaning like if the person is suing you, it's coming out of that coverage. And then if someone is hurt, it's coming out of your guest medical bills and so forth. That's coverage F. So it's just like knowing And also, I feel sorry for your neighbor, the fact that they had to go to someone else. I feel like this is, you know,
Yeah,
again, knowing your agent and having that relationship with your agent, and also us, us doing our job. There's no, like, when it comes to Northeast, there's no, oh, I need a second opinion. We take care of our clients, so you don't need to spend extra money and
yeah,
go get a second opinion to get,
yeah,
make sure you are covered, you're happy with
yeah.
knowing that you are covered and happy when something happened.
When something happened, because I remember she said that, I got the second opinion, the second assessor who came in, she had to hire that person. And then at the end of the day, whatever he ended up getting for her, I think it was like twice or three times as much. He
Yeah.
got a percentage of that. They go up to 20%. So you're saying, like, if you have the right relationship with your agent, especially if you are working with Tanisha Jean-Charles, she's with Northeast Insurance Solutions, and you are reachable by email and by phone. You have your phone here and email, and also, you could Google and find her, the company. You definitely want to have that relationship, because there's so much here. There's so much here. I've driven in neighborhoods where I've seen houses been boarded up for years, and the reason why they were not able have not been able to replace or repair or renovate that property is because A, the person did not have the right policy, or they did not have a policy, because they felt like, we didn't need it, the policy lapsed. We didn't even talk about that. But when you maintain a relationship with your insurance agent, they'll remind you that you have a
No,
policy,
yeah, we
especially if you no longer have a mortgage, right? If you no longer have a mortgage, you want to be able to, they have to remind you that, hey, you still need that policy. What for? Well, you have a $500,000, $1 million property here. Something were to happen. Do you have two, $300,000 or more to replace it? If you say no, you want to have insurance. Just like next week, actually in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about life insurance, because we have a gentleman who's an agent and I'm an agent. We're going to talk about that. Just like we're saying, nobody wants to talk about these things. Nobody wants to file a claim, because that's not something you want to do. God forbid, no one wants to deal with a fire or flood. We live in New England. I've dealt with floods before. When you're in New England, you never know.
no.
You go away on vacation, you come back, and then it was very cold, below zero, below 10, and then you forgot to put the heat on. Your pipes could burst. And then now you have a flood, you need to be able to cover the cost of repair, the cost of cleaning up, the cost of replacing your pipes, and all that is through your insurance policy. Of course, you want to be careful. Nobody, just like with the life insurance, we're saying, like, don't go and unalive yourself so that you can have a policy. You don't go and purposely be neglectful. Don't turn your stove off or don't do anything that. But if it happens outside of your control, then you know that you have the peace of mind to have the policy. Now, before I say goodbye, do you have one last word before we say goodbye for tonight? And I hope everybody's been watching, because again, I know it's boring topic, but let me tell you, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of losses that I've seen, because I've been in the industry, I've been talking to families, and it's unfortunate that many of them did not get the right guidance and did not work with the right insurance advisor or agent. And we have one tonight. What one last word you would like to say, Tanisha?
Um, Thank you, Gabrielle, for giving me the space here to talk to the community here. One thing I will say is always call your insurance company. Like, I know that I reach out to my clients for renewal. Some, we have multiple insurance that back up our insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the rate drop for different insurance, and we're able to put you at a lower price somewhere else and keep your coverage. We do that. We do that assessment when it's time to renewal and so forth. And you have a question, reach out. You have a policy, you don't know what you have, or the person doesn't speak Creole, or you want to say something, reach out to me. I'll take a look at it for you. I'll see if you are in the right policy, if you have the right
Mm.
coverage. That's all I will tell
Yeah.
you, so you can have the peace of mind.
Let me
Uh,
just say that
mind.
since you do speak Creole, soube zon moun ki etik, qui gen éthique, parce que éthique là, c'est lui-même qui est important quand il s'agit d'assurance. Ou besoin de travailler avec mon, capable de comprendre, yo capable de comprendre. Parce que l'assurance qui est capable de vraiment compliqué. So, ou besoin de parler à un monde qui est capable de comprendre, soit ce sont un monde qui parle créole, et Thanicha, Jean-Charles, capable d'aider vous comprendre ça, vous devez comprendre pour qu'il y ait une propre assurance. Parce que la plupart des gens qui toujours un problème quand il s'agit de maison, yo, c'est immigrants. Parce que yo pas contre loi, yo pas contre ça, yo pas connaît, en plus tout le monde ou gen apparaît non au côté parce qu'on pas comprendre, ça pas comprendre, yo pas bon vérité. Ça fait comme ça parce que me connais monde yo te fait ça. Okay, I know somebody who actually went to file a claim, and then because she didn't understand, they were not speaking a language that she understood, they turned around and told her, "This is not covered." And she didn't even know that she could keep pushing until she got what she wanted. So you definitely wanna, if you wanna feel comfortable, I believe in people who are culturally competent and also folks who are ethically competent.
Yeah.
Ethics is very important to me. And as insurance agents, we are taught every single day that we have a fiduciary responsibility to take care of, yes, our agency or our companies that we work with, but definitely the clients that we are serving. So thank you so much, Tanisha, for being
Yeah.
on tonight. Your homeowner's insurance matters. Tonight, if you are thinking about becoming a homeowner or already a homeowner, you want to make sure that you have great strategic relationships with business partners, with community members who can help you. Again, my motto when I was a mortgage officer, my thing was you want to find, you want to finance, and want to keep. You want to find, finance, and keep. We do not want a what ifs to happen, something to happen to your home, and you're out there on the street because you did not have the proper coverage. Because I've seen it. I've seen families who had fire and they ended up being homeless for 2, 3 years because they did not have the proper coverage. And by the time they were able to get back to the house, guess what? Additional damages because winter here in Boston can be very yeah, detrimental to your health and
Yeah.
also horrible to your property if it's
Yeah.
not properly taken care of. So yeah, your homeowner's insurance matters. Please share this information. Let your family, your friends know that yes, we have people available who could help you. Tanisha can do that. And thank you so much, Tanisha, for being on the show tonight. Thank you for all of you who are sharing, liking, and making and letting your friends know that Let's Talk Money with Friends. We are on here every single week. And you had mentioned like Gabrielle care. I care about people because I know to whom much is given, much is required. And
Yeah.
I know the American dream of home ownership, everybody has that. If you
Yeah.
are in this country, everybody wants to have a place that can find, finance, and keep. Find,
Yeah.
finance, and keep. And
Yeah.
I'm here to help you find, finance, and keep that home. So next week, we have actually an attorney who's going to be talking about the closing process and also how do you protect your asset legally to estate planning. So stay tuned. Let your friends know because we're making a difference and we want to make a difference in your life. Thank you so much for your time. Tanisha, don't hang up, but I'm gonna hang up offline. I'm gonna hang up on the live. And yeah, please share.
All
Let
right.
everybody know.
Thank you,
Gabrielle, thank you
everyone.
so much for your time tonight. God bless you. Benny Global and be blessed. Be Benny.
Yeah. Bye.